Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today we're going to go through my May TBR. I have 10 books that I'm placing on my TBR that I am hoping to get through this month. I know that I have 7 that I kind of have to get through. Even though some of them probably have a little bit of wiggle room with them, they will be getting read within either the month of May or very early June. So I'm going to talk to you guys about what my TBR plans are. I know that my TBRs I don't always follow because I am a little bit of a mood reader and every once in a while like other things will pop up that catch my attention, but let's talk about what the plan is and we'll see if I follow through. We're going to start with my 3 buddy reads for the month of May. At least I think there's only supposed to be 3. For some reason in the back of my mind, I feel like I've forgotten somebody. So if I told you I was going to buddy read with you and you're not on this list, please let me know. The first buddy read on this list is Local Woman Missing. I will be reading this with Brittany and I am really excited to get to this. This is going to be my first with this author, Mary Kubica, I believe is how you pronounce their name. And I have heard amazing things about this author, not particularly this book. I don't know that I've heard any one of their books that gets more praise than others, but this is one that I've seen make the rounds on booktube. I am intrigued by the premise of this book. So obviously we have some women going missing and the book has, I believe, a time jump, and I don't know how much we get in the past timeline, but we have these people going missing and then we have a time jump for I think a decade into the future, and you have one of the women showing back up and people are asking her questions and supposedly there's a thrilling reason that she was gone. And so I am excited to figure out what happened to these women and I am excited to experience this book with Brittany. Next is a buddy read with Leandra, and we will be reading Annihilation together this month. I think that we're only doing 1 buddy read, but you know, last month we did 3. So who knows, we could be doing more than just 1, but for right now, I just have this one in the books, and that is Annihilation, which is a sci-fi horror, maybe? I know that we have a place called Area X, which is a place that has kind of been abandoned. Civilization as we know it, like the forests have taken over the planet again, and there are communities of human civilization and they have traveled to this Area X in little groups of people. I can't remember what they call them, but they have like groups of people that have gone out and tried to restore this area. None of them have come back. And there have been multiple groups of people that have tried. And so we are going to be following one of these groups of individuals going to Area X to try and figure out what happens. It sounds spooky. I love the climate fiction, especially when it's paired with horror. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what this book does. The last buddy read that I have on my agenda is The Gathering or A Gathering of Shadows, which is the second book in the Shades of Magic trilogy. I will be reading this with Katy and Rainey, who I read the first book with, and I also think that Beatriz might be joining us on our buddy read as well for this one. If I got that wrong, I apologize. But if not, you guys should go and check out Beatriz's channel anyway. So I am excited to continue in this world. We read the A Darker Shade of Magic last month in March and really enjoyed it. I really liked the different worlds, how magic impacts the worlds differently, and our 2 main characters that we follow kind of getting to know each other throughout. I don't want to give too much away because I kind of think this is a series that you should kind of go in blind. But I really enjoyed it and I'm hoping to continue enjoying the series, which is why I purchased them. And it's gonna get rid of one of my physical TBR reads, so that'll be nice too. Next on my planned reads, I have the Rabbit Back Literature Society. And this is a book that I've had on my 5-star prediction list for a long time. And this is actually the last book on that list that I need to get through before I can actually go through that video with you guys and explain how I did on my last 5-star predictions and give you guys my new TBR. So I am excited to get to this. This was described to me as a weird book. And all I know is that there is some type of literature society where I think there are 10 members if I remember correctly, and one of them goes missing. Someone replaces that person and they start to figure out there are some oddities behind the last person leaving. So I am excited to get to this. I love a weird book, and like I said, it's been on my TBR for a really long time, and I am excited to actually have a copy. Well, it's not my copy, but I'm glad that my library had a copy. Next is one that I am carrying over from my TBR from last month, and that is Starter Villain by John Scalzi. This is a book that also has been on my TBR for a really long time, but it is also on a secret project of mine. So unfortunately, for now, you guys won't hear my final thoughts on this book, but I will eventually get to you, or get them to you, I promise. But it will come with a little bit of a bang in a few months. So if you've never heard of this book, I honestly don't know a ton about it. I know that there is a character in this who is working for a corporation, and potentially a corporation of villains, I think. And you have talking cats. Say no more for me. I don't need any more. I know that there's some dolphins in this as well. I don't know a lot about it, and I do kind of want to go in blind. So I am excited to finally get to this. It is very short, and so I know that when I get to it, it's gonna fly by. The next book is another book on that secret project list, and that is Warbreaker by Sanderson. This is another book that has been on my TBR for a really long time because it's in Sanderson's backlist, and it's one that I have not gotten to yet. I've heard amazing things about it. I don't know a lot about the plot. I believe that there are, unless I'm mixing it up with another Sanderson book, I believe there's two sisters. There is some type of magic that deals with music, maybe. One of them is the intended daughter to get married to someone else from a different kingdom, and at the last minute the daughters are switched. I don't know by what force or if it's against their will, and I think the story is about the two sisters coming back together again. But once again, I could be wrong, because I've tried not to look into the synopsis of this because I do typically like Sanderson, and so I'm not super worried about this being a book that's not really in my forte, but you never know. And once again, I won't be able to tell you immediately what I think about this, but eventually you will hear my thoughts. The next book is another book on the secret project, and that is Our Share of the Night. And this book has also been on my TBR since the Goodreads Choice Awards last year, because this was on the top horror list, and I have wanted to get to it for a while. I do believe it's a translated work, and I'm just going to read you the first paragraph of the synopsis, because I don't want to get any further than that, because I know that sometimes synopses for horror and thrillers have a little bit of spoilers in them, but the first paragraph just hooked me. So it says, his father could find what was lost. His father knew when someone was going to die. His father had talked to him about the dead people who rode in on the wind. The dead travel fast. It sounds creepy, and I love the cover. Not that the cover always tells me that I'm going to love the book, but I'm here for it, and I will let you guys know eventually what I think. Next, and the last book, I swear, on this list that is also on the secret project is The Ashes of the Sun. And this book is an epic fantasy book I honestly have never heard of before. It is, I think, a trilogy, and you follow two siblings who are on opposite sides of a massive war to save their world. Not exactly sure what that entails. It is a chunky read, and so I am excited to get back to my chunky roots a little bit, and I will let you guys know eventually what I think of it. Next, we have Time Machine by H.G. Wells. This is on my 24 in 2024. I have wanted to read more H.G. Wells, and so this is one of the ones on my list. All I know about this is you follow a character who travels 800,000 years past his own era and gets to see what happens to the world. So it is pretty short. I think the audiobook is only 4 hours long, and I don't know. The only H.G. Wells I believe I've read is the Dr. Moreau book, The Island of Dr. Moreau, which I did enjoy. It was weird, but I liked it. So hopefully this kind of has the same, not weird vibes, it's probably not going to be the same as far as time travel goes, but I liked the writing style as well when I read Dr. Moreau. So hopefully that continues, and I can check another one off of my list for my 24 in 2024. The last book on my TBR is An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good, which I actually put on my TBR due to one of you guys. Originally, this was put on my radar by BookTube with Amy a while back, and I put it on my TBR, but I kind of had lost track of it. But because of my video on elderly women protagonists, one of you commented this series on that video, and it reminded me that I do have this on my TBR, and it is one that I've wanted to read. It is about an 88-year-old murderer. And I don't know if I think the comment says she's a serial murderer. So I'm excited to figure out what that means. I know I've read, I don't think she was elderly. I have read Sweet Pea, which I didn't really enjoy. I wanted more of the sass, I think, in the character than what Sweet Pea gave me, and so I am hoping to get that from the series. And because it is a series, I think that there's multiple books in the series, so if I love it, I'm excited that I'm going to have even more books to go off of with this elderly serial killer. So that is it as far as my planned TBR goes. I do have some books that are on my past TBR that I still have not gotten to. I will not talk about them again here because I know you guys have heard me talk about them for the last 2 months, but This Charming Man is still on my TBR if I can get to it. Engines of Chaos is still on my TBR. I know I need to get to them, but you know, I'll get to them if I can. And then also The Book That Broke the World is one that I haven't gotten to yet either. And I think I'm going to wait for the audio to come in because I really did like the immersive experience when I read it with The Book That Wouldn't Burn. I think I read that one. Or no, maybe I read that one physically. Maybe I should read it physically. Let me know in the comments down below if you think what you think I should do about that. Should I read it first and then like whenever upon reread maybe go back and listen to it with the audio? Or do you think that I should change it up and listen to it on audio even though I didn't do that with the first book? Let me know what your opinion is on that. So let me know if there are any books that you are excited to get to in May. Let me know if there are any of these books that you've read and loved or read and hated. I would love to chat with you guys about any and all of that in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.